Hey guys, welcome to Bar Z. My name's Stan, and this is episode number 8. And this is the episode, wait a minute, is it episode 9? No, it's 8. This is the episode right before Thanksgiving. We've got a spray booth behind us, all made out of plastic, all completely assembled. We've been working on duct work, which I'm going to flip the camera around and go through with you on the other side. We've got the Cyclones, started to get connected. We got all that yellow iron up there. We had a bunch of longitudinals to put in, all that big jungle gym looking stuff up there. We had to get all that in and threaded between the blue conveyor. So that was a good time. And we're going to show you some of the ducting we've been working on. Okay, we put in our starter boxes. There's a couple starter boxes that bolt up to the actual basement of the spray booth. And I showed you all those air ducts in the last episode. If you didn't watch episode 7, go back and check it out. But this box actually bolts to the plastic with nutserts all the way around. And then we put legs down to the floor and we actually bolt it to the floor so that this doesn't influence the cabin in any way or rip out the nutserts. You know, we're worried about those aren't that strong. So we're back working with steel again, which makes me feel so good. We can impose our will on steel. You cannot impose your will on plastic too well. So we've got a takeoff box there. One of these doors just cover there, so that's a clean out door so they can get into the work on the booth. And here's another one here. And same thing with the four-legged duct connected to the plastic. And then we do a squared around. And this is all welded seam 10 gauge longitudinal duct. This stuff is no joke, super heavy. Long radius elbows. I think it's a 9-gore elbow. Quite a bit of gores in that. Horizontal. And over to the Cyclone. That one's done. We just got to make that connection, do a couple things. Leveling, a little more leveling, a little more fudging around. We got pressure blocks in around the feet. Keep them from spreading. And this one's same thing. Another long radius elbow over to the Cyclone. So that was today's project. Actually, today's Tuesday. So this is our work progress Monday, Tuesday. But booth finished. We got all that yellow iron put together up top. The swing set, the jungle gym, whatever you want to call it. It's quite extensive. And that is zero fun working up there. Literally, you cannot walk on top of the booth. We still got a yo-yo hanging up in the rafters up there. We had a guy up there in a jumpsuit climbing around in there like a monkey. And out from here, these bars, longitudinals, they come out. And we've actually got a cantilever lid that hangs out here. But I'm not ready to put that in yet because it'll just be in my way. But booth complete, looks nice. Still needs to get plastic welded. I think that's going to happen next week while I'm gone. By the way, there will not be an episode next week. We are going home for Thanksgiving. Okay, so let me show you the portion of it we're working on. It's a pretty clear little drawing here. Cyclones, remember those? A spray booth, we did that last week. That's the actual booth. There's the duct and the duct boxes that came off of the spray booth to go up to the Cyclone. Goes through the Cyclone, and this has to go out through the wall. This is the dust collectors outside, so they don't show the wall, but the wall is right along this line. So you remember I had quite a bit of duct work to put in. And then out of these blowers here, we're actually sending the air right back into the building and going back to a HEPA box right here. There's a big filter box where we pump the air back in the building here and here. So we've got 2 large overhead duct runs there. And that doesn't look too complicated, but let's go look at the balance of our ductwork that we have left. It is currently Thursday, and we've been working pretty steady for the last couple days. Out of all that duct I showed you in episode 7, this is pretty much all I have left. I've got all this left here. and that one piece there on the loader, and we've got a few elbows still outside. Not that many. All right, let's show you what we did with them. That duct there, that's the return duct that sends air back into the building. These are the duct takeoff boxes off of the booth. Those get bolted to the actual spray booth, get bolted to the, then you got a four-legged stand, bolt them to the floor. There's a clean out door that goes in right here. It's just a bulkhead door. And then it's a welded seam transition, companion flanges, long radius elbow into the Cyclone. Out of the Cyclone, comes through, and you'll see there's a duct with some angles on it. That's called a FIKE, which means it's a fire extinguisher system. Same thing here. There's a FIKE bottle that goes on right there, and then that's the extinguishing port right there. And we come across there, 20-degree elbow, 90-degree elbow, fire damper. And that's all mirror image over that way, or the other Cyclone. And there's the other duct pickup box right there. To do some of this work, we actually had to put our little scissor lift down in this hole. So we had to lift a lift with a lift. We used the big loader, rigged it up, and dropped this little guy down in the hole, which is pretty handy, you know, when we have to get up here in front and work up front here somewhere. It's pretty convenient to have a lift in the hole. After you get in, you don't really want to take it out. But oh, it's just a nightmare of ductwork here. That upper one goes through that wall opening. That's the return air, a clean air. This one here with the fire damper. These are the two fire dampers side by side. There's gonna be a wall opening there. Those two go out in tandem and go to the dust collectors. And then that upper one goes to the actual blower to send the air back into the room. And then, like I say, these were the starter boxes and the duct takeoff from the actual spray booth over to the Cyclone units, to the mechanical separators. So that's what we've been busy doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and part of today. Getting those ducts in all the way across to there. And they're just laying up on top of that white iron up on top. But, you know, it was good to see a lot of that ductwork from the rear yard just disappear. We've been burning through it pretty fast. One of the comments on the channel was, why did we have to put this booth down in a hole? Why the 8-inch depression in the floor? Well, these ducts and this floor and this basement have a very specific size that they have to be for the airflow to be right and everything to work properly. So that basement has to be a very specific size. And the parts that come in through this opening are at a very specific elevation. There's one of my portals over here. So without that conveyor changing elevations, the trailers that are coming through are at a specific elevation, and they have to stay at that elevation throughout the plant, all the way through the process. We don't change any elevations at all, and it's not like we have a whole lot of headroom to do that anyways. You know, if we had to take this up a foot or two, you know, we'd be kind of crowded on headroom. So okay, so these are the swing hoppers. That thing's upside down right now. That works like a hopper right there, and it's got a hinge point over there. And literally they're in the boxes upside down, so these invert, and they sit on a hinge mechanism over here, and pneumatically they'll pull down, and then they can be manually swung out of the way to get to the hopper to do a clean out of the Cyclone. And this is a little swing away LED light that swings in there, so it shines up in there and they can see that they've got it clean or not. So those are going to go in today. Not that much to do today, you know. We got some crates to bring over, but we need to get those. He wants to hang those swing aways over here, And we cleaned up pretty good yesterday. Did some of our upper duct. Fire dampers are in. We're waiting on wall openings there. Our 34s are in. That's waiting on that wall opening there. That 34, oh, I'm blowing you out with that light. Those 34s are just hanging there on some big tie-down straps up to the rafters. But that wall opening has to happen. We got 4 wall openings. 2 for those where the fire dampers are, and 2 for those big 34s. Those are the return ducts that send air back into the building. But we chewed through quite a bit of duct work. Our pile is getting way smaller. But the Gimma stuff just keeps coming. There's all kinds of equipment that keeps showing up. Cabling, you know, just skids worth of stuff. We've been unpacking boxes that nothing. We don't know what is in what box. So this is all Gimma stuff. Most of it's just application equipment, which is just the powder guns, hoses. Oh, it's getting dark in here. We just started using the oven to store some of this stuff. These are the drums you go outside under the hoppers. I can tell you that. And it's just more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. It just never ends. These are all the actual guns. I don't know, that opens up easy. That is an actual powder gun right there. That's what goes on the automatics. That's one of the automatic powder guns. Very lightweight. Also very expensive. But you can see all the powder guns the system's getting. It's getting quite a few. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There's 12 powder guns in there. Hose, tubing, cabling, more hose, sealant, more cabling, hose holders, touch-up paint, bracketry. I don't know what those are. Some kind of air manifold. But it just keeps coming, and I got tons more boxes to get through. And I already showed you the swing away hoppers. That thing is currently upside down, but we're going to get that mounted. Maybe we'll bring you back and show you that. But from a distance, the longer you look at it, the worse it gets. There's a lot going on up there, and there's going to be a lot more. All the ductwork going a million different directions. There's going to be cable trays all put into that yellow iron up there. And then it'll be hoses, tubing, plenum cable, signaling, data cable, Cat5. There's all kinds of stuff that goes in the gutters. This thing is all computer controlled and PLC controlled, so there's a lot of data cable that has to go on there. So if you think it's busy now, wait till you see it when we're done. Well, I thought maybe I'd visit the other side of the building for you guys and see, let you know what Kentucky's up to. They're moving right along. They've got quite a bit of conveyor hung. They still don't have a sandblast booth yet. There's a sandblast booth going in on the other side of that zoom boom right there. But they've got quite a bit of their iron hung here. So their conveyor rails are doing good. This is the exit side of the curing oven. So they've run that quite a bit, and there's still an awful lot to do. They got all their diagonal bracing to put in. They still got to get through the sandblast booth, which isn't even in yet. So there's still quite a bit to do over there. But this place looks a lot different than the last time you saw it. That's where their conveyor rail's coming down. Right there, and I thought you guys might like to see the sandblast pit. This one's pretty deep. No fun working over this hole. This hole is going to be all filled up with there's a trough and an auger that goes in there. There's an elevator that's going to go over there. We're not doing the sandblast. They're not here yet. But they have to get their structure in for the Kentucky boys to hang their conveyor rail from. So this has got to go in first. That'll probably be all done by the time we get back from Thanksgiving vacation. Okay, well, we got the Gimma recovery system mounted, and we're not completely done with it. It's just mounted. It's on a swing away. I'll show you what it's all about here. What it is, it's pneumatic powered. You swing this out of the way. This is actually an air seal. That is an inflatable gasket that gets inflated by a very small amount of compressed air. And this has got a stud pattern that bolts into the bottom of the Cyclone. So that bolts up, and then this gets charged with compressed air to create a seal. That's like a inner tube right there. And in between these two seals, this is foam here too, goes a sieve. There's a very specific mesh screen that goes in between there. So your sieve always sits inside of that tray, and it swings out of the way. So that'll swing in there. And then the lower hopper is right here, and it's on pneumatic cylinders. There's 3 pneumatic cylinders that it sits on, and this whole thing goes and pushes up into that gasket, into the sieve, and creates a seal. And this is a swing away type sieve. So this is how they recover their powder. And this will actually get put down, that lower section right here will go over to a pump. So anything that just falls in, gets through the sieve and falls into here, this is recovered powder. It goes over to a pump, and it'll put it back into the fluid bed for the guns to pick up again. And then for manual cleaning, if they want to switch colors, they would have to swing this out of the way, swing their little light in, their little LED light that shines up into the turret or up into the Cyclone, and then they could go up there and manually clean that. But that's how that works. It's a pneumatically charged unit that pushes that sieve up into the bottom of the Cyclone. And it requires 2 hands. It's a crush hazard, so if you're going to go up, you have to flip the switch to up, and you have to press both of these buttons at the same time to lift. And then if you're going to pull it down, you flip the switch, push both buttons, and it retracts. But that's how that works when they're recovering powder or doing a color change. All right, thought you guys might be interested in that. Okay guys, well, we're going to close it up for episode number 8, and this is late Friday. We're going home, and we're going to go home for 2 weeks. We're not coming back till December 1st, so you're not going to see episode 9 for a couple of weeks, but you might get some shop time. We did get some crates late, and these are the Gimma gun movers. Basically, this is a reciprocator that sits on the floor, moves back and forth on a railroad track, and they reciprocate up and down, and the spray guns hang off of those. So we've got 6 reciprocators, and before I left, they wanted me to get them out of the crates and get them stood up, because they're tricky to stand up without damaging them. So I told them I would, and there they are. So they're probably gonna install those next week. The Gimma guy will be here, and he can do some of the install on the actual gun reciprocators and linear rails and stuff. So appreciate you guys watching. I want you to have a blessed Thanksgiving Day. Like I said before, we got a lot to be thankful for. It's been kind of a shitty year, but we still have a lot to be thankful for. All right, man. Have a good one. Enjoy your coffee this morning. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your holiday.